YouTube? Tire Metalhead Weatherman here. Hopefully, you guys have had a good Thursday. Almost towards the end of the week. It's been a wild one, but we're about done finally, it looks like. So let's go ahead and quickly get into the video here. We're going to start out with Nicole, of course. We have the tropical storm now making its second landfall earlier today in the Big Bend of Florida here. We can now safely assume that this will not be strengthening any further, and this will work its way further inland and become a big rainstorm for the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast over the course of the weekend and beyond. We still, of course, have to keep our eye excuse me. Still, of course, have to keep our eye out for potential tornadic activity. But for the most part, things as of right now have stayed pretty quiet. We haven't gotten any real reports, but we do still, of course, have that threat, and thus tornado watches are still being issued on that right front quadrant where conditions are most favorable for tornadic activity. Do I really, in my honest opinion, I'm not too sure this storm is really going to have the ingredients necessary to really produce too many tornadoes. We can't rule it out. It could be something entirely different tomorrow, but as for tonight, I just don't really think the instability is going to be there for these storms to really rotate like that. So let's go ahead and quickly take a look at the day 2 outlook for tomorrow. Also want to note marginal risk for some thunderstorm activity towards southern Texas. A few storms could be severe with that, mainly leaning towards a wind and hail threat down there. But the high wind and tornado threat, of course, is going to be with the remnants of Nicole as we move further up the eastern seaboard here. Greatest area of interest is going to be towards Richmond, Virginia, and Virginia Beach. Can't disinclude areas like Charlotte, Raleigh, and Wilmington in North Carolina. Charleston, I think your threat is going to exist earlier in the morning, but towards the afternoon, I think the threat's going to diminish. And anywhere to the south of that, it's pretty much going to be the same story. So, as far as Nicole's concerned, we haven't had too much in the way of severe reports. We, of course, have plenty of tropical storm force wind reports all up and down the East Coast, the southern part of the East Coast, and probably will continue. We will probably continue to get those reports as time goes on. But we'll go ahead and also take a look at the winter storm we have going through Alejandra. We'll take a quick look at the snowfall reports and also try and take a look at the potential for blowing snow here. So here is where a lot of the damage was done. Well, I wouldn't say damage, but a lot of the snowfall totals over the last 72 hours. Try to see if I can move this out the way if I can. Oh, I can. Good. Of course, I mentioned earlier in a video a while back that the Sierra Nevada was going to be the big winners. Of course, I mentioned that some areas could reach 3 feet. We have definitely done so there. Then over towards the Rockies here, there's a couple areas where we're starting to flirt with that 3-footer mark. In fact, there is a couple areas that have it. And then if we push further to the east here, we've got plenty of areas here that are reaching about 8 to 12 inches. Some areas even getting into that 24-inch range. Just towards, I'd say maybe southern Montana or southwestern Montana, we have a few areas where we're getting to 2 feet. As time's gone on, though, we've started to go lighter with the snow. But here's the thing with the blizzards, because this is where we were expecting our blizzard to really take shape here. A lot of that snow will reduce visibility because it's blowing around, but some of it won't really reach the ground. So that can sometimes limit the final snowfall total. Excuse me. So as a result, we'll have lower snowfall totals, but just doing any sort of navigation outside can become extremely treacherous. But that being said, we still got about 4, 6, and some places even 8 inches in North Dakota. South Dakota also got the same thing as well. We got 3 to 6 inches in in the northwestern corner here of South Dakota. I think over the next 6 to 12 hours, we're probably going to have the snowfall start to diminish here. But the thing is, the winds are still going to be ongoing for a little while, for at least I'd say the next 24 hours possibly. In fact, we'll go ahead and take a look at the wind model here, at a model for wind here. And this is the NAM 3 kilometer. We're going to take a look at the winds over the course of the next few days. And also, one thing to make mention of as well is that even just behind this frontal system right here, this cold front, winds are going to be lingering. So even these areas right now that are dealing with the winds from Nicole here, you're not really going to get too much of a break on the eastern seaboard, because once this front passes through, it's going to have a lot of wind energy associated with it, thus leading to some pretty interesting wind chills. So here we are on Friday, on late Thursday night into early Friday morning for even some of you. This is the 060, so this is definitely overnight. I'm going to push towards 12. So this is Friday morning, and of course we still have the remnants of Nicole here. We have some areas where we're getting about 40 to 50 miles an hour, so this could prompt some wind warnings, especially over towards West Virginia. But look right here, this is where our cold front is, and right behind it we're getting some pretty big gusts here. We're getting into the 45 mile per hour range. Could warrant some wind advisories right here, maybe even a high wind, maybe even a wind warning, not necessarily high wind, but still. And there's some there's a little piece of energy here, and there's a little bit of a potential for backside snow behind this, if I remember correctly. I might have this mixed up with another system that's coming in another day. It's just so much going on, it's kind of hard to keep up with it all. But we'll watch our front progress to the east here, and that wind's not going anywhere. It's going to be right there behind it. And we get into Saturday morning here, and look out in the southeast here. We're not getting 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts though, but we're still getting 10 to 15, some places even 20 miles an hour. And the thing is, when you have air temperature of about maybe 40 degrees, that 40 starts to feel like low 30s or even 20s for some of you, and it can get really uncomfortable really fast. So so anyone that's planning to do stuff this weekend, definitely make sure you're layered up pretty good, because just because that air temperature, say 42 degrees or 38 degrees, which is already cold for a lot of people in this region, it's gonna feel even colder than that. And this is a very good instance of get sick weather very fast, if you know what I mean. But outside of that, there's really not much to talk about here beyond that. Weather for this weekend is supposed to be relatively calm. There is another storm system that's supposed to be forming around the northwest here, and we'll be watching that. But I don't think it's going to do too much this weekend as of right now. Of course, we'll be updating the weekend forecast tomorrow afternoon, and of course, I'll be posting it then. But anyways, this is the end of the video. Enough rambling from me. Of course, if you guys liked what I did in the video, definitely drop me a like. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. Do stuff like this all the time. But anyways, this has been Tire Metalhead Weatherman. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.